City cemetery rate increases are a top item on Monday's Sioux City City Council agenda. Sioux City Parks and Recreation, which oversees city-owned cemeteries, is seeking a new fee structure beginning this year. According to city documents, rates have not been increased since May of 2007. Here is a look at what council is being asked to approve. The Parks and Rec Department is proposing a 6-year plan to increase burials. The highest would come this year with a 10% increase, then 9% in 2025, followed by 7% from 2026 through 2029. They're also seeking a decrease in mausoleum fees for 2025 with a 3% increase each year after from 2026 to 2030 to account for inflation. The Parks and Recreation Department says these rate increases would help support additional cemetery services and upkeep. The Siouxland Interstate Metropolitan Planning Council, or SIMCO, wants to accept a grant to help fund several infrastructure projects in Sioux City. The funding from the Surface Transportation Block Grant and Carbon Reduction Program would provide additional cash for the downtown bike and pedestrian riverfront connection, the Bacon Creek Channel, the Gordon Drive and Lewis Boulevard Trail, and the Bacon Creek Conduit Project. Now, for a complete breakdown of these projects and funding costs, you can visit KTIV.com. The city's Historical Preservation Commission is seeking funding approval for an archaeological investigation. That funding, in the form of a grant from State Historic Preservation Office, would fund more than half of an archaeological reconnaissance survey at 2 sites, the War Eagle Monument and Park and an archaeological land parcel north of the Milwaukee Railroad Shops Historic District. The project is the next step in getting each site in the National Register of Historic Places. The proposed East High Lofts are also on the council agenda once again. The city manager is seeking a funding agreement with a Wisconsin-based business to build the East High Lofts. The project looks to take the building that used to house the East Junior High School at 1520 Morningside Avenue and turn it into 41 affordable housing units. The company is seeking $750,000 of city funding from the American Rescue Plan for this project. Once complete, city staff would be responsible for monitoring and inspecting the units for 15 years. The total cost of the project estimated at just over $18 million. And a new hotel could be coming near the Sioux Gateway Airport. This is part of the Donner Park Urban Renewal Area project on Al Haynes Drive leading into the Sioux Gateway Airport. The city is looking to move ahead with a proposal from Midwest Hotels, LLC. The company wants to purchase just over 14 acres of land for $1.45 million. The proposal includes demolition of existing residential structures on that property, restoration of the historic chapel located on the grounds, and construction of a new 4-story extended stay mid to upper scale branded hotel with a minimum of 120 rooms. There's also plans for construction of a convenience store and a new warehouse. That's all to the tune of about $20 million. City Council members will be asked to approve these initial plans tomorrow.